There we go.
There we go.
I don't usually use my phone for Zoom, so I usually do it on the computer.
Oh, well, it's working, mate. How's it going? How's your morning been?
Oh, other than a very slow visit to the chemist, good.
Yeah, you just can't predict these things, mate. You can't predict them.
No.
How's the weekend so far?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good stuff, mate.
Considering we're in lockdown again.
Yeah, I know it's non-stop for you guys down there. Just quickly, Nadine, for those watching, just tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend.
I'm a mum of 2 boys who are 7 and 4. I work for a university, working with the students, supporting them. So I work full-time, 2 busy kids. We have a business that my husband runs that I have as little to do with as possible. That's probably about it, really.
Nice. So we're just speaking with you today, Nadine, as you've finished up week 9, I believe. So you're heading into week 10 of the push program. Yep. It goes so fast, doesn't it? But if you can cast your mind back to when we originally spoke around 9 weeks ago, what were you struggling with the most? What were those things that we uncovered on the call that were really painful for you back then and that you really wanted to fix?
I think it was prioritising me in the family. Everybody else always came first. And I could just see that, I was going down a track where it was only going to get worse as the boys get older and their lives get busier. I'd have even less time for myself, and just getting bigger and bigger and more unhappy.
How long had you been putting yourself last for, do you think, back then? How long had that been going on for?
Since the birth of my second child. So a bit over 4 years, probably 4.5 years.
Yeah. And that
I just found going from 1 child to 2, life was a lot busier. And yeah, everybody else's needs in my mind were more important than mine.
Sure. Mate, don't tell me that. We're just about to go into that phase, so don't scare me.
Sorry.
So been putting yourself last for a long time, really common. Every single mum that we bring into this program, that is the underlying problem. They've been putting themselves last for a long time and as a result starting to suffer because of it. Now, when you said you were getting bigger and stuff, what was happening with the body back then? How did you feel? Where was the weight? What was the issue there?
Well, the weight was starting to pile on around my waist. I'd always had, even after, my first child, I had a little waist, I had a flat stomach. I had, my legs were never terribly great, but they were okay. But it just started putting on everywhere, and those areas that, used to be what I'd call my features, they were slowly disappearing as well.
Sure.
And I just found I didn't have any energy.
Yeah, massive.
You felt flat, so you made bad food choices, and it was just compounding.
Yeah, vicious circle. When you said you didn't have much energy, when did you experience that the most? What types of things was that holding you back from in your life?
Exercising, really, because it was just, I'm too tired, or I've got other things to do, or playing with the kids that involved, running around or jumping in the pool with them, or, it was starting to affect my time with them as well.
Yeah. And that's when mums tend to take action, right? When they notice it affects somebody else, because you guys are super selfless. So there's always a selfless reason for taking action, which I love. Now, what results have you been able to see, Nadine, since joining us over the past 9 weeks?
I guess first up were the physical ones. I could start to see my waist was coming back. My hips were thinning down. Now I'm finding, I walk into the bathroom and I walk straight into quite a large mirror. And beforehand, I just wouldn't pay any attention to the mirror. But now I'm looking in it and I'm like, oh, wow, I can start to see my arms are thinning down and I'm getting more definition in them. So there's those physical changes. But I think the most important ones and the ones that make me know that this is it and my life isn't, I'm not going to go back to the old ways, are the mental ones. And the fact that, I am putting myself not last, but I'm getting equal weight, to the others in the house. So my needs are as important as everyone else's. Yeah.
Such a big realization, right? That it doesn't have to be taken from somewhere else to give to you. It's not about that at all. It's just a rebalancing act. Absolutely love that. And we know that those changes deep down are what we truly want to see. The physical is great. but ultimately it's not as powerful as those changes that you see within your family, within your role, your role as a mum in this world. But yeah, I know that you're super happy with the body, and the photos have been amazing. What was your 8-week check-in? What were the facts at your 8-week check-in?
Gosh, trying to remember. I've lost close to 2 kilos, but the centimetres around my waist, I think I've lost 8. Yeah, in 8 weeks, I lost 8 centimetres around my waist, 6, I think, around my hips, and about the same around my chest. So it's 19 centimetres all up.
Amazing.
Which is huge. Like, my waist is back.
In 8 weeks, which is great. And
which is fantastic.
And the fact that the weight is only 2 kilos lighter is actually positive. And most mums will listen to this and be like, 2 kilos in 8 weeks. Well, that's not great. But what we need to understand here is what we're doing on this program is building a lot of strength and muscle. So we actually don't see it as a negative if the weight doesn't move straight away for our mums, because we know it will catch up. Because we build so much muscle, because we build so much strength, we just focus on measurements. We focus on measurements in the mirror and the way your clothes are fitting and the way you're feeling within yourself. Like, those are the important metrics for us. So that's fantastic to hear, that, especially the mirror thing. Like, so many mums are out there avoiding the mirror, like, it's even subconsciously, not even realizing they're doing that, avoiding reflections when they walk past shop windows. And that's not a positive way to live, right? So how do you feel about looking in the mirror now and feeling confident and happy with what you see?
Oh, it's fantastic. But also too, I'm noticing the small changes as well. Like, the cellulite on my thighs is starting to go away. I can see definition coming through, but I'm looking forward as well. So it's like, okay, I've gotten to this point, and I know it's going to keep happening, and the improvements are going to keep coming. Because it's been consistent the whole way through for these 9 weeks, and I know that that's going to continue. And my body just feels different, and I feel different in it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a big thing. I'm looking forward to going shopping for new clothes, and I'm not just going to buy the cheap, clearance clothes like I was starting to do, because it's like, it's not worth buying nice clothes for myself.
Yeah. That's definitely something we're not helping mums with is their bank balance when it comes to shopping, because ultimately every single one of our mums needs a complete new wardrobe by the end. Mate, I think that's phenomenal. And yeah, the internal shifts are the best. But as much as we don't like to focus on the physical result, it's so important for keeping that belief, like, because you've seen those consistent results, you've got that belief, and that starts to shift your identity and really build that broken belief system a lot of the time that you maybe can't do this, because like everyone else that we speak to, like all our mums, I'm sure you'd come from a place where you'd tried some other things in the past, right?
Yeah.
And what type of stuff had you tried in the past that hadn't worked for you?
Just, I guess, eating plans that meant you were having to cook a separate meal for yourself as opposed to the rest of the family, or it was just really expensive if you were getting pre-prepared ones. Whereas the great thing about this is I eat the same stuff that the rest of the family eats. So they're actually probably eating a bit better as well, which isn't a bad thing. But I'm finding, like last night, we treated ourselves. It's, we're back in lockdown in Victoria, and so we wanted to support, local businesses, and we got a delivery from a local restaurant a Korean restaurant that does Korean chicken and barbecue and stuff. And we got Korean fried chicken. And I had some, but I didn't have nearly as much as I would have in the past. And I was full. I felt good. I stopped. So I think it's just big changes in that front as well. It's like, okay, I'm satisfied. I've had enough. I'm not going to make a pig of myself and feel yuck.
And you probably enjoyed it more, actually. Like, just the fact that you knew that you couldn't, not that you couldn't, but you didn't want to go crazy with it and have an all-you-can-eat buffet. But you wanted something nice, you wanted a treat, and you know that you're allowed to do that. Like, you're still going to get results doing that as long as we do it in the right way. Like, you actually enjoy it more, I find.
And I think that's the difference. It's not you can't have things.
Yeah.
It's you just don't want the same things anymore, or you don't want as much of it.
Exactly right. And that's just part of that identity shift. You are now seeing yourself as someone who doesn't go and make themselves feel sick at every opportunity. Like, it's like, yes, I'm somebody who has a treat, who has those things in my life, but doesn't take it to that extreme. And that's amazing to hear. That means that the internal shift is really happening, and that's the main thing, right? That's what leads to the sustainability.
Absolutely. I think I made that shift quite early on. when I was convinced, I can't do squats and I can't do this and I can't do that because, my knees just aren't good. And it's like, well, you called me out on my bullshit on that one. And I pushed past really quickly. That was week 1.
Yeah.
And that just changed my thinking straight away.
Yeah, amazing. And well done for, for being open and honest about that. Everybody comes in with limiting beliefs. Like, it's not that injuries are made up. Some people do come in with injuries and we have to work around that. But a lot of the time it's just these limiting beliefs and being told by people, you can't do this, you're never going to squat again. Or you can't do that because your knees are bad, or you've got this injury and you're never going to be able to do that again. And we adopt that identity and that belief within ourselves. And it sticks with us until someone says, well, have you tried? Have you tried recently? Have you tried with the proper form? Have you showed me a video? Should we have a go at it? Should we actually dive into it? And that's brilliant. That's a really big limiting belief that you overcame. And that can come in all kinds of shapes and sizes: nutrition, mindset, training, whether you can do this or not. So I think that's really good for other mums to hear as well. What aspects do you think you've enjoyed the most, Nadine, out of the program?
Reclaiming my place within the family, I think, is the big thing. Knowing that my needs are equally as important as everyone else's, but having more energy again. Like, I've been up and done a number of things this morning already on a Sunday morning. Or in the past, Sunday mornings were, really lazy, usually feeling a little bit shabby after indulging on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I'm missing that. I guess we're not as social as we were anyway with all the lockdowns in Victoria. But, it's just feeling so much better about every aspect of my life. Work's been quite challenging recently, but I'm coping with it a lot better. It's not getting me down as much, and it's just like, well, I know I can deal with this. And it's just that mindset, feeling positive about everything and knowing that everything passes. You just got to push through.
Seasons, yep. Exactly right. Is work something you would have used as an excuse before to go easy, to not put yourself first, to not do this for you? Is that something you would have used as an excuse?
Absolutely. And a bad day at work would have, ended up with a few drinks after work and maybe making some bad food choices and then not feeling so great the next day. So being less active.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, I've had a bad day and I've been known now to come home and do a workout instead of having a few drinks.
Yeah, that's
and just having that time to myself. So, and then you come out of after the workout, you're in a much better mood. So the family doesn't wear your bad day as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah. I think where a lot of mums make the mistake, a lot of people in general, but obviously we work with mums, so they implement habits and routines when life is a bit easier. So, I've got this period of time and I can really do this now. And then when life ramps up again, like they go back to work, or they go back to working not from home, or school holidays finishes, or whatever it might be, those habits don't stack up when it gets tough. And that's a mistake so many mums are making out there. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. Like, work's been crazy busy. Like halfway through the program, it ramped up for you and got really busy. So that would have been the time when most mums have implemented something that worked great for 4 weeks in that time of life when it was easy, and then life got hard and everything fell to pieces. So I think that's absolutely huge that you mentioned that about your work being fairly busy right now.
Yeah, and I started just before Christmas, New Year's. So, I've dealt with Christmas and New Year's. I've dealt with going back to working at work, school restarting. I'd only just gotten back to the office Monday this week, and then we were sent home on Friday because we're back in lockdown. So there's been heaps of stuff going on, and I'm still getting great results.
Yeah. So you know that if you can do it through this time, you can pretty much do it through anything. Right?
Yeah, it's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Absolutely lifestyle now.
Beautiful. Perfect word to use. Now, last one, mate. Any mums out there watching this video in the future, thinking about jumping in our program, but they're a bit hesitant? Obviously, they've been let down a lot in the past. They're resistant to put the trust in anyone or into another program that's probably not going to work. Like, what would you say to those mums about joining us?
They need to do it. It's simple. It's straightforward. There's no ridiculous meal planning required. You can fit it within your life. But the biggest thing is you're accountable. And I think that's what makes this successful, is that, you've got 12 weeks to really reset your whole life with someone behind you saying, yeah, you can do this, or calling you out on your bullshit when you need to be as well. That's what's made it different for me. I knew all of this stuff, But I needed to be accountable and to get back into making it lifestyle rather than, sitting on the couch being my lifestyle.
Sure. Amazing, mate. Well, look, Nadine, I really appreciate your time today. I know you're super busy, but thanks so much for coming on and sharing your journey so far. I'm literally pumped to see what's going to happen for the remainder of your few weeks we've got and what we're going to end up with in the end. Mate, you've put in the work and you're getting the rewards, and that's as simple as it gets, mate. So you deserve it, and I'm super proud of you. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
All right, Nadine, speak soon, legend.
Take care.
Cheers, bye.